Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following week. My name is Colton Brown. With me, as always, it's Mr. Andrew Meadows. How are you, sir?
Colton Brown, how are you, man?
Good. Can't complain. Yeah, I can't complain. It's been a pretty good week. We're here talking about a long gestating, a long awaited project. We're talking about the Blue Blur, Sonic the Hedgehog at long last after at least one delay and the reworking of a certain design. We are finally here, having seen the final product, and we're here to talk about it. I mean, it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming.
We've been very eager to see this. It's had a lot of marketing's been up and down for this movie.
Little drama, behind the scenes, but they kind of rectified, I think, the earliest drama that came about, and I think it's kind of, for one reason or another, this has really kind of been a big success story. I mean, it's done really well financially. We'll talk about that later. I feel like the fan response has been very positive overall. I mean, critically, it's done way better than I think any of us expected from any of the marketing materials that we've gotten. So, yeah, I mean, across the board, it's kind of been pretty good. I mean, video game adaptations, usually a big stigma attached to that, but, between a certain Pikachu last year and this movie here, it kind of seems like maybe,
We're
that stance is softening. Maybe. We'll have to talk about the movie itself, of course, a little bit later, but yeah, I think purely just in terms of just general reception, though, in terms of fan reception, I feel like this one's done really well as well, like Pikachu, I think, did when it came out last year. So, yeah. Did you happen to have any fun facts related to Sonic the Hedgehog?
I do. I actually have, I've got two fun facts, one Sonic the Hedgehog related,
double
one
dose.
related to something else.
Okay.
Let's see
all
here.
right. Well, is it appropriate to start with the Sonic one, or should we, does one feed into the other?
It is.
Okay.
It's not really a fun fact. It's the hard drive posted this, and it looks like it. Well, I guess hard drive. It's from the hardtimes.net.
Okay. All right.
And the quote from the article is, Sonic the Hedgehog was never meant to be a 5-course meal crafted by the finest chefs in the land. Sonic is a meal that anyone can enjoy, like a 5-cheese ziti al forno from Olive Garden, or even a chicken and shrimp carbonara, also from Olive Garden. And so that's a little snippet there from Sonic the Hedgehog, if you can see him doing his thing there.
Looks like he's going fast.
I've got another fun fact, and it's President Trump's his reaction to Parasite winning the best film of the year. And this is, quote, "By the way, how bad are the Academy Awards this year? Do you see? The winner is a movie from South Korea. What the hell was that all about? We got enough problems with South Korea on trade, and on top of it, they give it the best movie of the year. Was it good? Let's get Gone with the Wind. Can we get Gone with the Wind back, please? Sunset Boulevard, and so many great movies. The winner is from South Korea," he said in his rally shtick. I thought it was the best foreign film, right? Best foreign film? No? Did this ever happen before? That's his reaction to that.
But did you see the response from the distributor of Parasite, Neon? Did you see that less than an hour ago on Twitter?
Oh, understandable. He can't read.
And there you go. Also, it's really unfortunate to be senile, but here we are. So
understandable. He can't read. That's fucking on point. That's so good.
Yeah. Parasite
Anyways.
was, in fact, the best movie of 2020. Suck it! All right, let's talk some news. Not as much news this episode as the last one, but that's quite all right. We've got a few trailers. I'm gonna start with the only non-trailer piece of news that we have to talk about, and that concerns a series coming to Netflix. We actually have a lot of Netflix stuff on this episode, I'm now realizing, but we're talking about an animated series coming to Netflix courtesy of Kevin Smith, and it's called Masters of the Universe.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Which is, in fact, the
He-Man.
Franchise.
Skeletor.
I guess it's actually called Masters of the Universe Revelation. So it's an animated series, anime-style series. Kevin Smith is serving as the showrunner, and it's going to, I guess, focus on the unresolved storylines of the iconic characters in the He-Man universe, picking up where they left off decades ago. I don't know where that is. I guess we'll find out. Maybe they'll do a, bring us up to speed kind of thing when the show does eventually drop. But I'm not talking about just, okay, Kevin Smith's doing a show. That's cool and all. I want to talk about the voice cast that they announced for this thing because it's seriously impressive.
What do we get?
So we have the likes of Chris Wood voicing the role of He-Man. Chris Wood is Mon-El from Supergirl. And I'm sure he's been in other things, but that's mostly where I know him from. Okay. And I think he'll have a good voice for that. Mark Hamill is going to be playing Skeletor, which I think is excellent.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I think that's a great get. Game of Thrones is Lena Headey, a.k.a. Cersei Lannister, is going to be playing Skeletor's right-hand woman, Evil Lynn. And Liam Cunningham, who was Sir Davos Seaworth, is going to be playing He-Man's cohorts Teela and Man-at-Arms. So he's pulling a little bit of double duty there.
Okay.
And then we have a whole spectrum of just really, really talented voice actors, well, just actors in general, really, as part of the voice cast as well, including the likes of Stephen Root, Diedrich Bader, Alicia Silverstone, Justin Long, Jason Mewes, Phil Lamar, Tony Todd, Kevin Michael Richardson, Kevin Conroy, and Harley Quinn Smith, who is Kevin's daughter. So
Kevin Conroy?
Kevin Conroy, yeah.
That's Batman, right?
Yep, that's the goddamn Batman.
That's cool.
So yeah, I mean, really, really kind of impressive cast that's been lined up for this project. He-Man, I have the power. You get it. He-Man's cool, man.
His Miss Holben haircut. I had a lady in high school had a haircut just like He-Man. One of my teachers. Reminded me of that. Did you ever see the...
doesn't really sound like a good thing, but...
Good's going off on a tangent, but do you remember the Skittles? The cream. What's he say? He's like a little leprechaun, and he would dance.
Okay, yeah, I remember the commercial. I don't know what...
Skittles and cream, and he had like the He-Man haircut.
Yeah.
If you were to take it, that was Miss Holben dressed up as a leprechaun. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, it's rude. She was not very nice to me. She didn't treat me very well, so I don't feel so bad about it.
Yeah. But
anyways,
she may or may not listen to this podcast, but if she happens to, she's feeling a little attacked right now. But it's okay. It's okay.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, He-Man series, yes or no, yay or nay? How you feeling?
Oh yeah, definitely yay. I used to watch it on Toonami.
Oh, nice. Well, then it's right up your alley. Then, very cool, very cool. But yes, I'm also a yay. Just for the masses to hear that out loud. What other news do you have? A trailer of some sort, I have to imagine.
Yeah, we got a trailer for Castlevania. Speaking of anime,
indeed,
Netflix shows.
Yeah.
Season 3 is right around the bend, and Season 3 looks fucking cool.
March 5th is when this is dropping. All 10 episodes, as we established, I think, the last time we talked about Castlevania. So lots of Castlevania to look forward to, and lots of excellent-looking Castlevania to look forward to if this trailer is an indication.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the animation's awesome. I don't know. It's a really cool universe,
Definitely.
As I think Season 1 and 2 have proven thus far. So... yeah,
and the games were cool too.
The games are cool. Yeah, well, I mean that's where it comes from, right? Hey, here's, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's probably worth pointing out yet another video game adaptation, right?
That's it.
In the spirit of
arguably
the Sonic
maybe
the
one of the
And,
best.
yeah,
I think it might be one of the best
for
sure. So,
it does a really great job of translating that world and kind of maintaining the right sort of tone, which is pretty mature and pretty bloody and pretty violent. Certainly a far cry from. The video game adaptation we're talking about today, but still really cool in its own right. So I'm excited to see where they go with it now that old Drac is allegedly off the board, at least for now. We'll see how that turns out.
Evil never sleeps.
Dracula always finds a way to come back. That fucker, he's always back. I don't know
he's
how
always
he does
back.
it. I don't know how he does
evil incarnate. That's why, man.
Yeah, I guess that's probably has something to do with it anyway. But yeah, it's very cool. I wonder if it's I picked up the Bloodstained games, which are kind of like they're not Castlevania games per se, but I think they were created by the original director of Symphony of the Night, which is kind of widely regarded as one of like the best Castlevania games, and it's the same style of gameplay. So maybe I should go play that, or I wonder if watching this Castlevania show will kind of get me feeling like I should jump
Bloodstained,
in on that,
you call
that type thing. Yeah, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I think you have there's it's like a 3D kind of side-scrolling type game, and then they did like an 8-bit prequel, which I think is the one that you have.
Okay.
Curse of the Moon or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's the full version of that game, which it was kind of weird. The spin-off thing ended up coming out ahead of the actual game. But anyway, Castlevania Season 3, as I mentioned, March 5th is when it's dropping. So check out Seasons 1 and 2 on Netflix ahead of its debut in, just a couple weeks' time. Looks like it, if I know how to look at a calendar properly. All right, another trailer, one that dropped today, so it's fortuitous that we are recording today, otherwise we would have had to wait so long to talk about this trailer. Westworld Season 3. Ooh. Westworld 3, I don't know how they're billing it, but this is premiering March 15th. It's an HBO series. It'll be a weekly drop, so it'll be a good ways before we kind of see what the full season is all about, but we definitely get a good glimpse at what they're doing in terms of setting, in terms of the characters, and how they're, putting them on the board, Dolores means fucking business. Maeve is kind of being set up as an enemy here. Jesse Pinkman is being set up as,
pawn.
A human parallel, maybe a pawn. Yeah, probably, And its own, I kind of feel like the humans are all designated as pawns, kind of, at this point. I feel like, we saw a lot of the setting in, I think, the Comic-Con trailer or whatever it was that we got sometime last year. And this, I don't think it offers too much more in terms of, like, what we've already discussed. I mean, I think it's kind of more just showing us where the characters might end up, at least at the outset of the season. I feel like in typical HBO Westworld fashion, they're probably not giving us too much to work with within, I don't think we've seen the full season from this trailer or anything like that. I think there is still many surprises to come, many twists and turns and stuff that have yet to take place. So,
how about that riot machine?
Yeah, the riot machine is. Yeah,
it fucks that guy up through the wall. That was pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
Just like crushes him. Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty neat. It's gonna be a pretty cool show. It's always.
I'm really looking forward to it. I think the change in locale is going to do wonders for this show. I think for the detractors of the second season, which I enjoyed, while still
is that a polarized season?
Yeah. I mean, people just don't seem to really like it a whole lot. I mean, I would say it's a step down from season 1 because season 1's a really high bar. Though. But I really, really still like the second season, and I think some things were muddled about it, but it had some really, really incredible stuff within it.
Some good high points for sure.
But I do think that, season 2 kind of did the thing of trying to emulate, in some ways, the structure, like the shifting narratives and timelines of season 1. Right. I think for me to a lesser degree of success, I guess, overall. And I don't think that maybe they're going to do that again with this season, but I think it's going to be so divorced from literally, quote unquote, Westworld, i.e. the actual world, right. That this is going to be very fundamentally different. But I think that's exciting. I think it's cool for this show to kind of grow and evolve and become something different.
Take advantage of, I think a lot of intellectual properties, I feel like a lot of them stagnate. Like they feel
they're too afraid to change the status quo most of the time,
and that is not the case with this show. I feel like this show is expanded on in a huge way, which is awesome because it's such a cool one to do it with. But really, especially it seems like now more than ever I wish it was me. I wish I got the the income to do the things that a lot of people make, or do. But it seems like there's a lot of stuff being regurgitated and remade all the time right now.
Yeah, sure.
Big lack of fresh material, and a lot of that stuff is just stagnated, I think. But anyways, Westworld is not.
Well, Westworld itself is obviously a TV adaptation of a film that was released, many years ago. But this show is now expanding the scope beyond what that movie ever
way
envisioned.
Beyond it. Yeah, exactly.
Right, so it's taking a concept that maybe isn't all that novel in the sense that it's technically been done before, but how do we push this into a new, different direction and make it its own thing? And this trailer, to me, indicates they've done it. Maybe it won't work. Maybe it will. I think it will, just based on how I'm feeling about it, how it looks. I think, the visual design, everything is kind of my shit, I would say. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely really, really appreciate kind of the direction that they're taking with this season in particular, but I think just kind of the framework of the show of evolving from season 1 to season 2 to season 3. I mean, I think 1 to 2 is lesser of a jump than 2 to 3 seems to be, but with the way that 2 ended, I mean, this was the only way that they could go, and I'm glad that they kind of took that step. So anyway, Westworld season 3.
And that logo treatment was cool too, where it goes like this.
The logo treatment was quite neat. I don't know if we'll have a chance to do any full episodes on it, but I think it's certainly one that I will try to watch as it airs, So
bonus
it's a weekly
episode
drop kind of
shit,
thing.
I think.
But maybe potentially. But, it'll be probably April, May before the thing even finishes, of course. So little bit ways away. So we'll figure it out, of course. We'll watch it in some capacity, though, for sure. All right, last piece of news. What do you got for us?
We got some motherfuckers making train tracks, I should say.
Who's making the train tracks?
Hopper. Hopper is making train tracks in Russia.
What?
Yeah, part of the train gang. Chain gang.
I thought Hopper was dead. I don't understand.
He's over in Russia, apparently.
Oh,
must have taken a trip through the upside down to Russia, I guess, right? Is that what happened?
Maybe,
there at the
yeah.
end?
Yeah, I think something like that. So
Something
Stranger
blew
Things
up.
4.
I don't know.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we get a real quick snippet.
Yeah, I think, it's kind of a calculated marketing move, right? Of just being like, what happened to Hopper? That was kind of the Stranger Things 3 ending of, oh shit, did we just lose a major character? We didn't see a body. I guess we know why.
They alluded to it, though.
Yeah, I think so. And they said something about the American, right? Which some people were like, "Oh, that's Hopper," and then some people were like, "No, it's that it's Papa from season 1, whatever that guy's name was." So I think people were kind of
Papa.
The scientist guy, the asshole guy, the gray hair.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Matthew Modine's character, whatever the character's name was, I can't remember. It's obviously, again, just kind of a, hey, maybe it's literally as simple as set pictures of David Harbour on set are going to leak. Let's get out in front of it. Or it's as simple as, hey, what's the point of dragging this out if this is literally going to be like this kind of almost feels like this is the last scene in episode 1. Yeah. And it's just kind of like, if Hopper's going to be such a big part of the season again, which is typical for Stranger Things, why do we need to fuck around and be like, why do we need to Jon Snow it, I guess, is kind of a way to compare it, just like, let's just put it out there. And like, no one's shocked by this information, right?
Right. And they shouldn't be.
Right. I feigned a little surprise, I guess I should say, but I wasn't actually surprised. Yeah. But I think it's good.
Cool. It's a cool name, too.
I think it's cool.
From Russia with Love.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty cool.
I mean, it's just a fun little thing of, hey, we're teeing up Stranger Things 4. It's coming out later this year, and guess what? Fucking Hopper's back. He ain't wearing no Hawaiian shirts anymore, but maybe we'll get one by the end of the season. Don't you worry about it. We'll find out.
I hope so. I like Hopper
Stranger
shirts.
Things 4. I don't think that there's any date or anything still. This was kind of, I think it's literally just a clip. I don't even think there's a Stranger Things logo to be found in the upload from the Stranger Things account, but it's a good little kind of, it's a fun piece of marketing, man, of just being like, here's just a little bit for you. A
little snippet.
Take it or leave it. A little snippet for you. What do you think? You like that? All right,
I like it.
Like that.
Yeah, just a quick little deal.
So yeah, that's Stranger Things 4 we can look forward to later this year. I'm sure we'll get full trailer date and all that, over the next few months, if I had to guess. Clearly, they are filming the series as we speak, so that's certainly something. So yeah, I'm fresh out of news. I mean,
I am completely out of news.
I mean, at this point, in the spirit of this episode being about Sonic the Hedgehog,
gotta go fast.
Makes sense. We've got to go fast. Exactly. We got to speed through this. No. We could spend as much time as we want with Sonic the Hedgehog. Reconnaissance. Hey, now, spoilers. Out of context spoilers, mind you, but
it's good.
All right, so Sonic the Hedgehog, written by Pat Casey, Josh Miller, directed by Jeff Fowler, making his directorial debut, starring Ben Schwartz, offering his voice talents as Sonic the Hedgehog, alongside Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, James Marsden, and Tika Sumpter. In this film, Sonic, an extraterrestrial blue hedgehog who can run at supersonic speeds, teams up with the local town sheriff Tom Wachowski to find and reclaim his lost rings and escape Dr. Robotnik. Didn't really bury the lead at the beginning of the episode, but box office, this has been crushing it. It has been doing really, really well. I actually guess I talked about it on the Birds of Prey episode. I kind of talked about how Birds of Prey had lost its number one status in its second weekend, and that is thanks to our blue hedgehog pal Sonic here, which has now staked a claim to the largest opening ever for a film based off of a video game.
Nice.
It has dethroned Pokemon Detective Pikachu's opening weekend from last year. So, sorry, Pikachu, you had the record for a bit of time, not even a full year. What are you going to do? I guess come out with a sequel. Come out with an actual Pokemon movie is probably the real answer. That would probably do gangbusters if I had to guess. But yeah, no, it's doing really, really fucking well. It did come out on a holiday weekend. President's Day was this past Monday from when we're recording this. So technically some kids were out of school. I didn't have school off. So what are you going to do? But but it was a 4-day weekend. For the 3-day take, it did $58 million, which beats the Pikachu record by almost $4 million. So pretty close, pretty tight race.
Right.
But that's also nearly twice what Birds of Prey did last week.
Jeez.
Just to kind of put that in perspective. Granted, one is a rated R movie versus what I presume is a PG movie. I cannot imagine this is PG-13. This is definitively a movie for children, I think.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's PG-13.
Yeah, I can't imagine it is. So it's apples and oranges, I guess, is the comparison I'm trying to make there. It's a little silly to compare one that's a lot more accessible for a wider audience compared to one that's kind of limited in terms of age and scope and such. But yeah, I mean, it's doing really, really well. I think through the 4-day weekend, did around, looks like 64 million. No, I'm sorry, those numbers are wrong. 68 million.
Nice.
I think it kind of was, it was tracking for, I think, 40, 50, and then it kind of kept going up and up and up and up, and then by the time the numbers actually came in, it had done exceptionally well. Right now, as of midweek, $77.8 million domestically, with a worldwide total of $128.2 million for whole Sonic the Hedgehog. Budget listed at $85 million. I'm not sure if that includes the
retake.
$5 million they spent to redo Sonic's horrific design, horrific original design. But yeah, doing really well. So good on you, Sonic the Hedgehog. I also feel like there's been somewhat of a dearth of really good kind of kids movies that have kind of scratched that itch. I mean, Doolittle came out and I don't know. I mean, look, obviously we weren't interested in it, but I'm not sure that it really was a kind of movie that
anybody was interested in. Is that what you mean?
I don't know that kids were like, oh my God, I've got to see, maybe Frozen's probably the last thing that's really kind of hit that mark. And even Frozen is way more adult than Sonic is, for the sake of comparison, but it's an animated film,
right,
with children in mind, obviously to some extent. So yeah, whatever it was, I mean it's speeding off and breaking some box office records and stuff, man. So So there you have it. Sonic the Hedgehog. You've seen it. I am very curious to hear your take. And again, it's been a long time coming to sit down and talk about Sonic, and
we've been covering it since
the get-go, since that first trailer came out, and we all thought, "Oh my god, what the fuck is this?" And then the subsequent trailer when they redesigned Sonic, and like, oh, he looks like Sonic.
I got a morbid curiosity about it, right?
All right. I mean, you can obviously answer beyond this question, but do you feel that it landed a little bit closer to your original expectations or closer to your revised expectations?
I would say
somewhere between. Where'd you end up with this?
It landed far beyond my expectations.
All of them, even your revised expectations.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's similar to Harley Quinn in the fact that it I don't know. I had the bar was set so low. I mean that trailer, the second trailer that came out was leaps and bounds better than the first one. Like it felt like a much better movie. And then you actually go in to see the movie, and it's a lot more than I don't know. It's just a lot more than you would come to expect. I mean, you think that because of that original design of Sonic, like you don't. I still don't know if it was like a total fake out, like just a marketing ploy, because there's a lot of like marketing type thing, like items, like like Halloween masks and stuff that have come out with that are a lot closer to the original design that make me think, no, they really were this close to absolutely putting out this miserable train wreck with. There was
this Sonic
concept
design.
art though. I saw some concept art with I forgot what was in the concept art. They released
there's
concept.
one that I saw concept art with Chris Evans as like
that's it,
kind of
yeah.
like the build for the main character,
and it looked like
what
we have for the guy for Sonic.
Yeah, well, maybe at one point they're like, maybe we should make Sonic look like Sonic, and then someone stepped in and they're like, why would we do that? I don't understand. The board of directors stepped in and said, we don't like that. Make him look weird and shit.
I tell you what though, it far exceeded my expectations. I had an absolute ball with this movie. I thought it was great. It's not without its shortcomings, but overall, I think the performances were great. Cyclops did a good job. I haven't seen him in a movie in quite some time. At least I don't think I have. I don't recall seeing him in a long time. But he did a good job. I enjoyed his performance. Sonic was fucking excellent. Sonic was awesome. Really enjoyed Sonic. I enjoyed the world that they created. I think the Jim Carrey performance was kind of like a greatest hits performance almost, it seemed like to me. Like it didn't I hate to say that it didn't feel real authentic. But it seemed like Jim Carrey playing a little bit of the Grinch, Jim Carrey playing a little bit of Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey playing, it just seemed like I said, a greatest hits of all the great characters you love Jim Carrey to be. And it was good, don't get me wrong, but I couldn't help to think, hey, that just him talking in that way to that dude feels like the Grinch, or him dancing around the bus feels like Ace Ventura a little bit. You know what I mean? It just, like I said, it just seems the performance.
Can you feel that? Huh?
Yeah. Like, I think at one point he actually asked him if he could feel it. And like I said, which is totally fine. It's just Jim Carrey. It's not that it's just Jim Carrey. I love Jim Carrey. But I did think the performance it was good. It just it felt unoriginal. That's probably the best way to put it. Only to be delivered by Jim Carrey, but like I said, just seemed like a greatest hits of all the characters. And I do like how they incorporated like Sonic themes and motifs and stuff. Just the way they did certain things and the way some of the characters said stuff, and there was a lot of homage. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
There was homage, or they paid reverence to the Sonic franchise, which is cool. And I really think I went and saw it with Robbie. I think Robbie said it best. I think it's as possibly good as a Sonic movie can be. I don't think a Sonic movie could be better than what we got. I think it's just a really good movie. For what it is. You know what I mean? I expected far less, and I got far more from this movie. So very pleasantly surprised. That's what I got.
I'm gonna be a party pooper.
Didn't like it?
I thought it was pretty bad, to be honest.
All right.
Yeah,
Is it as bad as you thought it would be?
No, I think there's things about it that are fine. I think a lot of it, I feel like most compliments being paid to this movie are, oh, it's not as bad as I expected it to be. And I guess it's true. I wouldn't say it's as bad as I expected it to be based on the original trailer, but I still feel like I enjoyed the revised trailer more in the sense that it was 2 minutes and this was an hour and a half, where a lot of it's not great. Some of it's fine, some of it's enjoyable. There's things about it that I did enjoy, but I think to say that you couldn't make a better Sonic movie than this, to me, feels incorrect. In the sense that I think it's a budgetary thing, but they made this whole movie take place on Earth, and I find every part of this movie that doesn't take place on Earth vastly more interesting than what we actually got.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
And I think that maybe it sets up for something, and it's obviously doing well enough. I think a sequel is pretty much guaranteed at this point. I think there's a way that you actually play with. I think there's a way you make a proper Sonic adaptation using the world of Sonic, and it's actually good, instead of making it this weird hodgepodge of Sonic, this goofball who's literally just John Ralphio Saperstein from Parks and Rec, and putting him in, like a kid's movie type setting. I just, for me, there was two different things going on here, and they didn't work together, I guess, for me. I kind of felt like the Earth stuff was just a bad kids movie, like a generic bad kids movie made for 8-year-old and under, maybe 5-year-old and under.
Let me tell you something. You say that right now. Okay, I saw it in Zephyr Hills Theater. Okay, that theater was slap full of kids.
Which I think
I went in with my.
I think this is a good kids movie.
And my nachos.
I think this, yeah.
And I sat right there, and all the like the corny shit, all the like stuff that you would expect to land with the kids, like Sonic flosses at one point. The kids fucking lost it. The whole theater just lost it.
And I absolutely understand why. I think this is a great movie for kids, but I don't think that doesn't make it a good movie in its own right. I think it's
got its shortcomings for sure.
I think there's way to make, in a weird sort of way, that this movie tries to, try to hit a little bit of the adult audience as well. There's a lot of kind of just one-off jokes that clearly kids are not going to get. It's not necessarily like innuendo or anything like that, but it's just making jokes about clearly something that anyone under the age of 10 is going to have no clue what this line is about, what this line of dialogue. Maybe they'll rewatch it in 20 years when they're older and look at this and think, oh, okay, I kind of get it, But I think there's a lot of stuff like that didn't land for me, in the sense that it felt disingenuous. It was just kind of a half-hearted attempt to be like, no, like you're invited to the party too, and I'm like, I don't think I am, to be honest. And obviously you felt differently, which is fine, but I just kind of felt like the humor that landed for the most part was kind of the things that took me back to the things that I enjoyed when I was a kid, which is to say that I thought Jim Carrey was my favorite part of this film.
Definitely, yeah, it's good.
In the sense that he was just doing Ace Ventura and the Grinch again, and I liked that because he hasn't done that in so long. And like, for kids that are seeing this movie now, that's probably pretty fun
crazy.
to see Jim Carrey. He's a little bit older, sure, but like, he's just absolutely hamming it up. He went past 11 to 12 with this film role, and
as he always does,
and I enjoyed that a lot. Is to see kind of that manic energy, the Ace Ventura style of humor from Jim Carrey. It was nice to see that back on the screen again. I think, again, it's just kind of the rest of the things that don't make sense. Like, he very much feels like a larger-than-life cartoon character villain, and I enjoy that. But, there's the whole thing of, like, there's, like, the one sequence where, like, it's the Department of Defense being like, what should we do? And they're like, there's only one thing we can do. And everyone else is just like, no, that's absolutely not true. And it's kind of a goofy, kind of offhand scene, but I'm just like, Why do we need to go through the lengths of like justifying Robotnik's cartoon character villain instead of just making him literally just a cartoon villain like he kind of is? You know what I mean? Like it tried to ground a lot of these things, and I'm like, none of this needs to be grounded. And I think it's at its best when it leans into these Sonic elements. At the very beginning, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I think the third act stuff. Well, I guess the very beginning being the backstory of Sonic, I guess I should say.
Little baby Sonic.
And then the third act where it feels like Sonic Adventure type thing where, it's a chase sequence and then there's a boss battle. Like it all feels kind of like the video game. And I liked that a lot.
Right.
I kind of felt like most of the everything kind of riddled with a lot of stupid things of like, Sonic's like, I don't know where to go. And I'm like, you can literally run around the world in like 10 seconds, dude. Like, you can find where you need to go. There's one particular thing that I found very bizarre, which we'll talk about in spoilers if I remember. But again, it's a kid's movie, and I'm not going to sit here and just kick it and say that this is the worst thing ever. I thought it was mildly enjoyable at times. I chuckled at a few things here and there, and I'm glad that it wasn't very long. It's not the movie that it's not a movie that should be long.
No, I agree.
I just think this movie was weirdly afraid to be a Sonic movie at times, and it's weird because it's clear that the parties involved clearly do like Sonic, which you wouldn't get from the original trailer in the sense that, oh my God, this is made by people that have never picked up a Sonic game in their life. And look, to be honest, Sonic the Hedgehog, in terms of video game franchises, not really well known for its quality. Certainly of late, certainly within the past decade to 15 years, it's actually mostly been trash and reviled trash and borderline unplayable trash. You really have to go back to Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 as like kind of like
Which
the last time that Sonic...
Pets?
That was Adventure 2, I believe.
Okay, yeah, that was cool.
And that's the early 2000s or late 90s, early 2000s when those came out.
Sonics plus
and so I think that's the last time that Sonic has actually been like regarded as like, oh, this is a beloved franchise that puts out good quality products. Like Sonic Mania is kind of like a throwback type game, but I think it was literally made by fans and not by Sega initially, and I think they ended up publishing it later or something like that. But it's my point being that this is kind of right within the trajectory of how Sonic is usually expected to go. I think there's a kind of meme of the Sonic cycle. I don't know if you've ever heard about that.
No.
All right, so the Sonic cycle. First info on new Sonic game. Cycles to more screens and info on the new Sonic game. And then it it's saying that, the initial is, okay, hopes are raised, and then when you get to the new stuff, gameplay looks to be the same old, hopes hit the ground, and then the game released. Reviews slam the game, massive disappointment, fans proclaim they will never be fooled again, and then it cycles back to the information on the next Sonic game. So that's the Sonic cycle. And I don't think this quite, hits that in the sense that I think that, weirdly enough, by the end of this film, which we'll talk about in spoilers, I think a sequel could work really fucking well.
Yeah, it could be really cool.
I think it could be a really cool sequel out of this. I just think that I think it was a weird starting point. There's some stuff in this that I think at worst should have been cut. I think I don't know, it's a short enough movie as it is, so it's kind of hard to really cut too much out of it, but there's some stuff that I kind of just felt were weird side diversions that just didn't really work, and a lot of it was... I hesitate to use the word plot hole because it's not necessarily a plot hole, but there's a lot of contrivances in this film, which again, it's a kid's movie, maybe don't think about it too much type thing, but it's not that difficult to just fashion this film in a way that kind of works. But I think crucially for me, I don't know. The stuff with Cyclops, James Marsden just kind of felt hackneyed to me. It's a dime a dozen type plot that we've seen over and over and over again. And I don't know. I guess they thought by virtue of dropping Sonic in there that it would kind of, revitalize it or something, but it doesn't.
Think so. I don't think he was meant to be anything special, that character.
Yeah, I think it's just pointless to me, I guess. I don't know.
I think by making him such a generic character, I think it elevates Sonic and Eggman a little bit, because he really is just a cardboard cutout of a character.
And I guess I just didn't need that. You know what I mean? I think
that's totally
it's weird to centralize this movie around a cardboard cutout. And I guess in some ways it does make Sonic and Robotnik stand out in the sense that, anytime the movie is kind of more around these two characters, it's fun and then kind of interesting. And then anytime it's around this boring ass cardboard cutout, I'm just thinking, why are we bothering with this?
Maybe I laugh at the expense of Sonic. I don't know. I just think it's hilarious. I think it's totally fine that you have this small town cop who is just, I need to prove myself. That's the whole thing. I need to get out of this small town. I need to do this and that. And the way that they made, I don't know. I think they leaned into it in the most hammiest of ways, and I think it made it. There's a movie that I'm thinking about would be the perfect parallel to this movie, but I can't for the life of me remember what it is. Maybe by the end of the podcast, I would have thought about it. But
okay,
there's a movie out there that is a kids movie that is just it's two-dimensional. I mean, there's no depth, but it's a fun, well-intentioned, you know what you get the second you watch it. You're not going to get any more, you're not going to get any less. This is what it is. And that's what Sonic is. And I don't think it sought to do anything more than what it's almost the same argument as the Harley Quinn thing. You know what I mean? I think Harley Quinn knew what it was. I think Harley Quinn's got a little bit more depth just because of the depth of the characters and stuff. There's more depth there to those characters, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for the sake of comparison, I definitely liked Birds of Prey more than this. Again, weird comparison, other than the sense that they came out a week apart. So that's kind of the only reason we're talking about it.
I guess that's true.
But yeah, I guess in terms of expectations and stuff, I felt like Birds of Prey kind of surprised me a little bit more. And I guess I don't know. I guess maybe the difference for me is I didn't want a Harley Quinn movie. It's not that I didn't want a Sonic movie. I just expected it to be pretty bad overall. And I would say it was. I mean, I guess it kind of met my expectations of, it was pretty bad. Some parts are kind of fun, but I don't know. I guess I was expecting something a little bit more genuinely kind of quote unquote good. Like, I really just feel like so many impressions are cabined in this, it's a kid's movie and it's kind of fun for a kid's movie, or I expected this to be trash and it was kind of fun. And I'm like, well, it's not really substantively saying that it's good. It's just saying that your expectations were a little,
right. Just because you
set
the bar low doesn't make it good.
And I'm not disputing the fact that some people probably legitimately do like this movie. It's all well and good to like this movie. I'm not saying anyone shouldn't like this movie. And I think that kids are going to absolutely eat the fucking shit out of this movie. And I think that it's a movie that's really, really well primed for that. And I think that's cool. But I think that there's a version of a Sonic movie that doesn't just settle for kids. And I think that maybe we could get that in the future. Maybe we do get that. Maybe whoever fucking put this movie out was really hesitant to lean into the Sonic world, to the Sonic kind of trappings, and they wanted to have, we got to set it on Earth so that the adults aren't scared off by all these weird elements and stuff like that. And that maybe that was the truth, but I don't know. I'd be more primed for that than I ever was for this. So, do you have any other non-spoiler thoughts? You want to get in a recommendation?
We can get
some
a
spoilers for Sonic.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move on.
What's your recommendation then? I'd like to hear what yours is.
I think it's fun for the whole family. I think it's a good movie to take your kid to. That's what I think.
I can get behind that.
If you have a kid, I think it's a good movie to take your kid to the theater to see. That's what I think. It's not an Oscar-winning movie. It's a two-dimensional...
And it's not so egregiously bad on the flip side of that.
You're not going to be miserable.
Oh my God, avoid
it
at all costs.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that even as an adult, you'll be able to register, hey, listen... Cyclops, this guy, he's a cardboard cutout of a small town cop. Like he read the handbook on how to play a small town cop, and that's what you get. But then at the same time, I think you'll find humor in with Jim Carrey's portrayal as Eggman, and I think you'll find Sonic a delightful little hedgehog. I think you'll find him as a delightful hedgehog, and I think he's a likable character, and I think you'll have fun for an hour and a half watching your kid, ham it up. I mean, just go to town laughing and shit. I think it's an excellent kid movie to take your kid to. So that's what I would say. See it in theaters if you have a kid.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, I can get behind that in the sense that I think if you do, in fact, have a kid that is, let's say, under the age of 8, does that seem fair? Would you say 10, 8 to 10? I just feel like 10's almost getting too old for, I don't know, 10-year-olds floss, right?
I still had fun with it. So, I mean, it's totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's obviously, I think, intended more for children than it is for adults, which is fine. You know, kids movie, it's legitimately a thing, right? You know, there's no real issue with that. I would just add the caveat of you may enjoy it more than you expect, you may not. I guess just kind of prepare for either eventuality. You know, in the sense that for me, I was hoping it would be kind of harmless fun, and it's harmless. It's not egregiously bad, again, as I said, but I kind of was hoping that I had momentary fun with it, but I could have done other things with my time, and I think I would have been fine. I mean, I had to sate my curiosity. I had to see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. There wasn't a doubt that I wasn't going to see it, but I kind of just, I don't know, I was really hoping that I would be pleasantly surprised by it in the sense that, oh my goodness, this is actually like pretty good in its own right. Not even just oh, this is kind of good for what it is. Like, I kind of just felt like, no, it's kind of bad for what it is, but it could have been much worse, I guess, you know, and I just feel like that's such a backhanded way of complimenting it that I don't really feel like that qualifies as like a, I don't think that makes it good.
I think if there was no bar, I think if there was no bar set by exceptionally shitty marketing, right? If we just went into it completely blind, no video game, no nothing. I think what I would walk out with was, Jim Carrey was great to watch. He was funny, albeit it was a performance that I've already seen before. Sonic was like I said, a fun character. He was great to watch. I enjoyed that. And every other character that was in the show could have been avoided, but at the same time, you gotta, you know, I assume they're using those characters to kind of give Sonic a little bit more dimension. So, you know, be it what it is, it was a fun movie. It was okay. I catch it on Blu-ray. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's totally fine. It's a totally fine movie. That's what I would say. It's totally fine. It's whatever.
I would say, you know, I'd say streaming is kind of where I would land. For me personally, again, if even if it's just to sate your curiosity, I don't think you need to rush out and see it. You know, if you have a kid, you know, maybe you're kind of within that target audience, you know, by default. In which case, you may enjoy it by virtue of your kid enjoying it, and hopefully your kid enjoys it. I mean, I really do think that it's going to play well with kids, as you obviously personally saw firsthand. And I know it did really well cinema score wise. Like, I think it had like an A or something like that from the cinema score. So clearly, like people are loving this shit, and like that's cool. You know, it's great that this isn't the steaming pile of shit that everyone expected it to be. And I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that.
And just because
I was hoping to be pleasantly surprised, and I wasn't.
And just because you like something doesn't make it good. That's an important thing to.
Yeah, I think that's a good qualifier. And again, and that's not to say that like, oh no, you're wrong, and I'm mad that that you liked this movie as much as you did, or you enjoyed it as much as you did. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's. I can see why this is enjoyable for some. For me, it just didn't hit that mark.
Right.
But again, that's fine. You know, there's nothing really wrong with that. But I would say, you know, I've seen far worse. You know, we saw fucking Hellboy last year, and that was just fucking miserable to watch.
Exactly.
I mean, it was one of those things where I'm like, my skin is crawling from how uncomfortable I am sitting in this chair watching this movie. I didn't feel that way with Sonic. I just kind of felt like, no, this is kind of schlocky, but mostly just kind of bad and dumb. But it's kind of what it sought out to be, I guess. So, you know, I'm not really going to hold it against it. I'm not really going to hold it against, you know, the people that enjoy it. I just, you know, it just wasn't really my shit, I guess. And I think that there's a version of Sonic the Hedgehog as a movie that again, is much, much better than this, more faithful to the games, brings in some other characters from the games, and takes the settings from the games. And I think it does it in a much more interesting fashion. But maybe that's my just personal take on it. So I would say, again, streaming, you know, it would be my quality recommendation in the sense that You know, the best movies are go see it in theaters. The next level, you know, is Blu-ray, and then kind of somewhere beneath that is the streaming. This is without a doubt not a you'd have to pay me to watch this kind of movie. It's not that bad. It's not. It's harmless at best. I think it's just. I just don't think it's really anything like super noteworthy, I guess.
It's not.
I will forget. I've forgotten about most of this movie by this point, and I think that's fine. You know, it's not sticking in my brain as,
Jesus,
wow, I cannot believe I wasted the time.
Right.
You know, it's really just like, you know, I guess it was just kind of a harmless diversion or whatever. But yeah, well, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog. I guess I don't know what I expected. I guess. So anyway, that's where I'm at with that. You want to dive into some spoilers?
Spoilers. What do you got? What offended you the most?
Full spoilers for Sonic the Hedgehog. What offended me the most? There's just a lot of stuff in this that I just didn't need. I thought the whole bar sequence was horrendous.
You didn't like the bar sequence?
I hated basically everything about that sequence. Pretty much, I don't think there was a single thing. I mean, you know, he did the Quicksilver thing, which again breaks this movie because Sonic is faster than literally everything in existence, in which case you're telling me he can't fucking find San Francisco by himself?
He could find San Fran by himself, I'm sure. He didn't want to find San Fran by himself, Colton. He wanted a friend.
All right, well, that's fine, but how come he literally couldn't run up the building to get to the top? He's just like, no, it's locked. I can't get up there. And I'm like, no, you can run up buildings. We've seen that already in this movie, you big dumb.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one.
I mean, like, it's literally like this movie is solved with Sonic literally just running to San Francisco, grabbing the bag, and being like, all right, I'm good.
Done.
And I get it. Like, this movie is not trying to be like a case study of Sonic's speed and how fast he can go and you know how long it would take him to get to San Francisco and whether he can run up buildings and stuff. It's like, but you've established this within this world, so you make this really fucking stupid by not just having him do the obvious thing. And I think a lot of
he could just throw another ring to where his bag goes too, because like the whole premise.
I don't know if he had another ring on him. I feel like it was presumed that he didn't have any rings, or maybe he used them again. I can't remember.
He lost all the rings.
I assume the point was that he lost all the rings, so he couldn't just fast travel there in the way that he would otherwise. In terms of what else offended me the most, really the bar sequence was just absolutely horrendous. I hated everything about that. I mean, again, I guess the Quicksilver sequence was fine. It's more the build-up to that of just being...
like line dancing and...
Yeah, I think maybe not my scene, I guess. Maybe that doesn't help, perhaps. I guess, what else?
What about the sister-in-law?
I thought she worked. I thought that was fun.
You like that?
Yeah. I think that's probably the closest thing to adult humor that actually worked, is kind of just recognizing the ridiculousness of the situation and calling it out and being like, am I the only one that can see that this is nonsense? And I also thought it was just kind of funny, the through line of how she absolutely hated cardboard cutout man and just being like, doesn't matter of time, you can break with them any time. You're way too good for this, man.
It was funny.
Yeah,
I like the fact that she...
I thought that was solid.
She brought out 2 cakes when he opened the letter. There were 2 cakes there. I thought that was kind of funny. I still don't quite know how Sonic... I guess, well, I don't know. I guess if he has the barroom scene, and the here's the thing. Sonic and that plane were moving at the same time, right? They were moving at the speed, but the explosions were happening real time. He was moving significantly slower than he was in the barroom scene, running away from the helicopter thing that Dr. Eggman was in.
Yeah, I think that's like there's inconsistency within the rules that they kind of set down. And again, it's a kids movie, and you can just cabin every single complaint you have with stuff like that, and it doesn't really matter. No one. It's not. It's
don't
not
look
important.
too close, right?
You're right. It's not that important. In fact, I really don't give a shit. But the simple fact remains of consistency within your own screenplay it's not impossible to achieve. And I think that I don't think that's really a defense. To say that don't worry about it. I'm like, well, you kind of opened yourself up to this critique in the sense that this is kind of a lot of easily correctable things, and like it didn't need to be like that.
It didn't need to be broken, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just kind of a little thing, I guess, if you want to classify it as such. But I just think it's one of those things where just deal with it ahead of time and kind of cut off that line of complaint. It's really not that difficult to kind of to do that. Yeah, let's see.
I thought it was hilarious that Sonic was fucking with the Crazy Tim or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah. The
crazy homeless
town
guy.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I laughed about that. What else did I laugh about?
I like that they kind of vindicated him at the end, and he comes around with the chainsaw at the end. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Oh, I like the ping pong, how he beat Dr. Eggman by bouncing into his shit 1,000 times.
Uh-huh.
I like that. I thought that was cool homage to Sonic, right? That's how you usually beat Dr. Eggman is thumping into his fucking mechanical contraptions.
Okay, so that's what I was talking about. What I liked about the third act is that, the third act, and technically the way that the movie starts and then it cuts back to everything, I don't like that as a framing device still. I hate when movies do that. Like, here's the most interesting part of this movie. Now here's an hour of bullshit. The way that they handled that whole third act where basically, Robotnik's in this goofy-ass flying machine, full Dr. Eggman, from the video game, just chasing around like a maniacal asshole, and Sonic running around, and get the blue streak. Like, I loved all that. I thought that was
cool.
great.
Yeah.
Like, that really, to me, felt like a good representation of how the video game works. And then Sonic's like, all right, I'm done running. Here's your boss battle at the end of the level. And what does he do? Is he just boops into the ship a bunch of times to blow it up. I'm like, that's literally the game. It turns into the ball, boop, 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 boop. That was great.
Was cool.
I loved all that. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. It's the everything else in this movie that I'm just like, yeah, this is the bad movie that I was expecting. And so that's what I mean is like, I think there's a version of this movie that
chock full of Sonic shit, right?
Brings in, some other characters, maybe a certain character that we see in a mid-credit scene if you happen to stay.
I missed it.
You didn't see Tails?
I looked it up online, though.
Okay.
I heard about it and I had to look it up.
Yeah, I kind of just felt like, you didn't need to have, again, Robotnik as, like, this weird genius who's, like, again, like, it just doesn't really... It's such a, I don't know, it's like a weird Spy Kids type thing maybe, where it's just like, here's this over-the-top asshole in the real world, but I'm just kind of like, just make fucking Eggman a weird dude that exists in Sonic's universe. Like, I just didn't think Sonic's universe needed to be collided with our universe. I didn't really think that was necessary. And I feel like it's such a overdone trope. I mean, what do we have, like the fucking Smurfs movie, or like, oh, the Smurfs are on Earth, and like, it's like every fucking kids movie has to have some version of, look at this weird asshole that ends up on Earth, and look how crazy and different he is. And I'm like, it's every fucking kids movie ever made. I just think there's a kids movie.
It just happens on Sonic
just
World.
Literally Sonic, and it's in the Green Hill Zone instead of, oh, get it, it's Green Hills, Montana, so it's like the Green Hill Zone, but it's on Earth. And I'm like, no, fuck you. I don't want any of this. Like, just do the thing instead of approximating the thing and making it seem like we get it. Like, no. There's a bunch of 80-year-old men and sitting around at a conference table that made these decisions. And I guess that's just kind of the thing that bothers me the most is like, there's moments in this, like even the beginning, he's getting chased by the fucking tribe of echidnas, and I'm just like, oh shit, that's cool. Like,
tribe of echidnas.
Yeah, it's the
like evil Sonics.
No, the ones that look like Knuckles.
Oh, that okay.
They're
Those
chasing
are
them around in the beginning.
Okay,
yeah,
those are Knuckles people. I thought those were Sonic peoples.
No, those were Knuckles people, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like maybe Knuckles is one of those, and maybe we get a Knuckles reference at some point, or maybe that's just something that they're seeding in the universe to maybe set up down the line. And then Tails pops up in the middle of the credits, which of course, he's popping out on Earth to like, where's Sonic? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, well, great. So now Tails is going to be on Earth. I'm like, no, let's just go back to the other fucking world.
And I didn't know Tails flies so fast.
Yeah, Tails moves he moves pretty good. Yeah? He's got those two tails, man. That's why he's called Tails. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess my hope is, and one thing that really, really pissed me off, I can't remember if it was the first trailer or what it was, But they spoiled that look of Robotnik from that like credit sequence.
Yeah.
You know, it was like the end of one of the trailers is him with the comically over-the-top mustache and the goggles and shaved head and everything, and they showed that in a fucking trailer.
Ruined it.
I hate when any company does that. You know, of just being like, here's this thing that you want. And I'm like, well, why didn't he look like that the whole fucking movie if you're going to do that? You know what I mean? Like, take this exact Jim Carrey Robotnik, dump him in the Sonic world with that end of the movie design. I'm in. And that's probably what a sequel is, right? Is maybe it hops dimensions, maybe Sonic's on the run, escaping from Robotnik, and so he's going through the different zones that we see from the video games and stuff like that. Cool. Like, I'm all about that. I think that could be great. I just think that could have also been the first movie instead of a kind of really nothing movie that, you know, has moments of fleeting fun, but again, for me, just to really hit the mark of it, just I don't know, just it felt like an underutilization of the Sonic franchise, I guess, which again isn't a bastion of quality by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that you could have hit a lot of the same beats within this movie with a far more interesting setting, with a far more interesting cast of characters, and they didn't, which, you know, what are you going to do?
Well, I don't know, man.
So, I know I've been kind of ranty on this episode. Apologies to anyone that really liked Sonic the Hedgehog and is very appalled at my take, but again, it's not so bad. You know, I think it's just kind of a flat level of badness for me of like, yeah, I'll go on with my life. I won't think about Sonic the Hedgehog too much now that I've really gotten it all off my chest.
I liked, you know what I really appreciated?
Totally
it made me laugh every time, and I think I was probably the only person at these times laughing, but like at the end where, you know, Sonic's dead, and he's starting to go gray or whatever, and everyone's like, oh, he's dead, and then the cardboard man says, blah, 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 and he was our friend. All of a sudden, fucking Sonic lights up. Like, it's super hammy. It's super, just cornball. I love the cornball in this movie. That's what I loved.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I was on the wrong headspace when I watched it. I don't know. You know, I maybe if I saw it again and recalibrated, kind of thinking like, oh, I'm not gonna like a lot of this. I don't know.
I think if you would have went with me to the movie theater, had a couple Blue Moons with you.
Maybe.
And some nachos and some cheese at the Zephyr Hill Cinema, full of children and their parents. And every time something stupid happened, and it was just over the top, hammy, or poorly written, or just straight up cornball, I think you'd have had more fun. I think you would have had more fun with it. I don't think it makes it good, to be fair.
Yeah, okay. All right, fair.
It's fun though. I had fun watching the movie, which is something I did not have with Harley Quinn. Did not have fun with Harley Quinn.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of the opposite, where I had more. I really didn't. I think we're kind of on the flip side of this, where I had way more fun watching Birds of Prey. Not that I thought it was great again, but I had more fun. I was pleasantly surprised by the experience. Whereas this, I'm just like, this is kind of what I thought it was going to be, you know. And I cracked a smile at a few things. I liked when Jim Carrey puts his glasses on and they're like crooked and shit. Like just a weird kind of corny moment, but I'm just like, fun. Yeah, it's kind of fun. I liked it.
What they
call optical illusions. They know what kind of glasses I like. I need new frames.
And then in rock connaissance, to bring it back to rock connaissance.
And he has the same laugh. It's just fucking crazy.
Yeah, I enjoyed Jim Carrey's performance in this for sure. I would be happy to see him reprise his role in a sequel as just crazy asshole Robotnik, shaved head, full mustache, Dr. Eggman. You know what I mean?
Just straight up Dr. Eggman.
Yeah,
I think that would be good. This was the the origin story of Eggman. That's what we got.
Yeah. And I will say this. I'm so glad they fixed the design.
What if we get Dr. Eggman? He's got his big ass mustache and he's bald, but he's not skinny anymore. And he's been eating the mushrooms on the planet.
He's been eating the mushrooms. He's looking a little larger.
He's just
little bit more rotund.
Yeah, he's He's just all blown out and completely out of proportion. He's got skinny legs, but he's all swollen up. Oh, that'd be hilarious. On Jim Carrey in a bodysuit.
I'm in.
Just full on grinching it up. Like,
Yep. Yep, I'm definitely in for that version of Eggman. I was just going to say, as maybe a final thought on this, I'm glad they fixed the design, because I do think if it was the original design, this would have been unwatchable. Do you agree with that take? Do you think the fact that they changed the design fundamentally and like altered your enjoyment of this film?
Yes, definitely. It would have been unwatchable. It would have been terrible.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's like, I mean, yeah, they spent $5 million or whatever, and I think sadly the fucking studio that redid all this shit is already like out of business. Like they just shut that shit down, and like all the employees just like did all that. They probably fucking worked 90 hours a week, and they're like, all right, thanks, fuck off, idiots. You know, like that was kind of the nature of the VFX business in its own sort of horrible way. But like, thank you guys for fixing this fucking movie and taking it from an unwatchable, literally just an unwatchable film. Like it's the exact same film, but I wouldn't be able to look at it. I wouldn't be able to look at it because I wouldn't be able to look at that Sonic design and think, what? It's the Cats thing all over again. It's fucking Cats all over again. I've just been like, I cannot physically watch this for that long. And they fixed it. And I think the design's pretty good. It's a good design, you know, for Sonic. It's not 1-to-1 with the video game, but it's so close that like it's basically indiscernible.
It's perfect. It's good.
So it's crazy. Just one little kind of change like that fundamentally alters the course of this movie. So thank you to those artists that happened to fix this movie from being an unwatchable, you know, train wreck to something that, even if I didn't love it, even if I don't think it's very good, you at least made it somewhat tolerable in that respect. So thank you. You have any other thoughts, Sonic the Hedgehog?
No, we're good. We're good.
All right. I want to do another iteration of the Listener's Corner.
Oh, we got more listeners, huh?
Well, we have another listener by the name of Bruce Brown who has once again chimed in with only one email this time, but he sent an email on a little Disney Plus television show by the name of The Mandalorian. You might have heard of. Yeah. You might have heard of it. It's I think it's a Star Wars, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
He says, in regard to The Mandalorian, that he really enjoyed it. Acting was great, sets were excellent, good story, and a different view of a Star Wars story, and some good Baby Yoda fun. Thumbs up is what he says on The Mandalorian.
Good Baby Yoda fun.
Good Baby Yoda fun. It's true. Can't disagree with that. So yeah, that's all we have on the Listener's Corner. I just wanted to throw that out there because Andrew and I are going to be sitting down and talking about The Mandalorian ourselves quite soon. We haven't done it as of recording this episode. We don't know exactly when it's going to be happening as of yet, but rest assured we'll be talking about The Mandalorian in full depth. Non-spoilers, spoilers, kind of a standard coverage, but we're going to be doing it as part of a bonus episode. It's a bonus episode we've promised for some time now, but we are going to make it happen. So if you want to hear our thoughts on The Mandalorian, maybe by the time you're listening to this, our thoughts are already available. Maybe they're yet to come. However, just head over to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat, or you can head to our website, watchreviewrepeat.com, click the premium tab in the top left, and then click the Become a Patron button. $2 a month gets you access to all regular episodes ahead of time, usually at least a few days ahead of their regular release, as well as timed exclusive access to those bonus episodes like The Mandalorian. So if you want to be among the first to hear our thoughts on The Mandalorian, which granted we've talked about it a little bit on the best of episode for 2019, it's no secret that we liked it, obviously, but you want to hear our full fully fleshed out thoughts on it, that's where you need to go. So recommend you head that direction. Hasn't been that long since we recorded last, admittedly, but I did want to ask you if you've been up to anything lately you want to shout out, movies, TV shows, anything you've been doing?
Nothing.
Audiobooks?
Dr. Sleep.
How far are you into it now?
2 hours.
2 hours of, how long is it roughly?
Like 16 or 17 hours.
Okay, so you're still early days on
Baby
Dr. Sleep.
Then. Baby Dr. Sleep. Yep.
Baby Dr. Sleep.
We painted pictures. We had a painting with a twist at the house, which is always fun.
Oh,
we did
very
that
nice.
last night.
What'd you paint a picture of? What was
so
like a setting type thing or what?
YouTube's always try to find landscapes. So it was supposed to be like a sunflower field with like this narrow beaten down path, this brown path to mountains to big sky. Mine has taken none of us finished it because it was too much of a grueling painting. So we paused it and we're gonna continue it on later, supposedly.
Oh, you're gonna go back to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what I am making, because my road and everything started to take a weird turn, I am making Gandalf riding to the mountains. So if you can picture, I had a brown road, right? And then it just ended up looking like Gandalf's fucking brown hat. So I'm gonna make a little pipe with a little puff of smoke, and he's gonna be riding to these mountain paths. So it's cool.
All right. Well, I'm kind of curious now. As it currently exists, does it look like that? I mean, would it conceivably be what you just described with Gandalf, or do you need to fill in kind of the gaps, and then it will kind of like you can kind of see it? Because I just feel like if our listeners are hearing this, they're like, oh, we've got to fucking see it now. So I'm just wondering, like, is that something we can show to the listeners now, or do we need to wait for the final product to unveil it?
I'll let you be the judge. Hold on 1 second.
All right. All right, guys, bear with me. I'm going to look at it, and I will let you know if I see some Gandalf and what Andrew is about to present to me.
Live reaction.
What do we have? Oh, he's about to flip the canvas around, and it's coming into view. And okay, all right. So we're saying that the road looks like Gandalf's hat. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. I'm gonna make it a little bit more like Gandalf.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I could see that right now. Yeah, I think so. I think it needs some fine tuning to really get to where you want it to be.
That's it.
So I think
a little bit more
for the
definition.
sake of the listeners. I think for the sake of the listeners, I think that it's better if they wait for the final product. Yeah. This is I can see where Andrew's going with this, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Job well done, sir.
So that's what we did. That's what I did last night, as a matter of fact. But other than that, I've been up to nothing really.
Very little, huh? All right. Well.
Oh, Splendor! I am the Splendor. I am the crowned Splendor champion.
Oh, okay.
Did I tell you about this?
You might have. I don't know if you told the listeners about it though.
There's a board game called Splendor. It's like an engine building game. And up to 4 players. We played with 5 people, and we had what I call a Tour de Splendor, and that is a 5-game. You play 5 games, cycle the players in and out each night. So you play 5 games per night for 3 nights. The one with the most cumulative points wins, and I had the most cumulative points. Did not win all of the games. Probably won a healthy more than a third of them. I think I won. But I was consistent with my points. Like if I didn't win, I was close to winning. So it's good. It feels good to be the king. And I told them the next board game competition that we have, someone else has to pick the game. We'll have a competition, and we'll do the same thing again. So I am the Splendor champion, which is
nice.
Feels good. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you, man. I'm good at something, apparently. So.
It's only been a few days since we recorded on Birds of Prey, so I don't have a whole lot to add as far as what I've been up to lately, but I do have some things I can offer. On the TV side of things, I have watched 3 more episodes of the HBO Watchmen series, which means that I am now 2/3 of the way through it. I was 1/3 of the way through it as of our 2019 episode. Continues to be excellent. I highly, highly recommend it for you particularly. I think you'd really dig it. I think you really
Watchmen?
would. Watchmen. So
HBO, Watchmen, and not Bad Boys, The Boys.
Just The Boys, yeah. I don't know about the Bad Boys. I know you like Bad Boys, but it's not my recommendation, I wouldn't say. Watchmen, again, it just kind of maybe just hammer on some of the things that I talked about on our 2019 episode. It takes kind of the themes from the graphic novel and kind of transposes them into a modernized setting, but an alternate history type setting where, Robert Redford's been president for 20, 30 years, something like that.
Like the Robert Redford?
The Robert Redford, yeah. You know,
wow.
and just things like that, you know, of, you know, this is a world where instead of 9/11, there was, I think it's 11/2, which is the squid attack on, you know, Manhattan and the psychic attack, and, you know, and just the impact that had on the world, and
it is a
uniting
squid. It is a squid
United
attack?
States and the Soviet Union. Yeah, and you know, it's fully following the graphic novel in the sense
cool.
of,
all right.
you know, this ain't no Zack Snyder shit, man. You know, is what I'm saying. So yeah, it's full squid. I can tell you, it's maybe somewhat of a spoiler. We see full squid at one point.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
So yeah, like, and it's cool to see that, you know, actually brought
Pirates
to life. No pirates, but
no pirate stuff.
But it does kind of have some other. It has a there's like a documentary or like a kind of like a fictionalized story about Hooded Justice, who's you know, one of the members of the Minutemen, and so it's kind of the way that Black Freighter was interposed throughout the graphic novel. It's kind of like that, where you get like a 2-minute little snippet. That's cool of that, and so it kind of gives you a little bit of the lore of Watchmen, and, you know, and it still kind of ties into the themes of the actual mainline story and stuff like that. That's so cool. It's all blended wonderfully well. Still have 3 episodes to go, so I can't exactly say if it sticks to the landing or not, but I've heard nothing but excellent things, so I think it's going to be consistent in that regard. So yeah, again, highly recommend you watch it. I started a show on Anna's recommendation called New Girl, which is a half-hour comedy show. I think it was on Fox originally, 7 seasons. It's now over. I think it just finished within the past couple of years. Zooey Deschanel plays the lead character who she catches her boyfriend cheating on her, and ends up having to move out. So she moves into an apartment that has 3 other men that live with her there, you know, and each of them's kind of their own personality type. So, you know, she's like super quirky or whatever, you know, and
she's Zooey Deschanel. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, basically, you know,
okay.
And I get the impression from Anna just talking to her. It's a How I Met Your Mother type show where somehow the main character is the worst character in it, but everyone else is really funny and really interesting, and it's kind of what makes the show work is the supporting cast. And I have found that to be true in my 4 episodes that I've enjoyed so far. The pilot is a pilot, you know. Pilots are awkward, and, you know, like they're supposed to like capture you immediately, but you don't know the characters, so it doesn't really always kind of land. 4 episodes in, I'm getting it. You know, I'm kind of feeling it, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is fun. This is enjoyable, and it's breezy. It's certainly a far cry from a Watchmen, which is a watch an episode and sit on it for a few days kind of thing. And New Girl is, you know, I thought about it for 20 minutes and I enjoyed it for 20 minutes, and I'm going to go about my business, and that's just as well, you know. And I think it's good to have a bit of both in your life to not be bombarded with, you know,
high intensity shit.
So many Watchmens. You know, it's like if you had to watch like 3 different Chernobyls at once, like, you fucking lose your mind. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need that in your life. You need levity. You need something to kind of break up the tension and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the TV side of things for me. The only thing I want to shout out besides that is a little music recommendation. I know I don't do that super often, but Tame Impala's latest record, The Slow Rush, is now available. Dropped on Valentine's Day.
It's quite awesome.
I listened to it for coming up on a week now, and I think it's excellent. Huge fan. Lines? Oh man, it's a groovy fucking record. I don't know how much Tame you've listened to, but I think
a little bit.
Yeah, I think that Kevin's sensibilities have kind of shifted since he did like the early couple records of Tame, and it's gotten like really like bass and drums like kind of really at the forefront with a lot of the tracks. I've seen a lot of people kind of compare it to like Daft Punk in terms of just kind of.
That's cool.
You know, kind of the feel and the flavor to it. And I don't think that's true in every track, but there's definitely some where I can get that sense. And some of it reminds me of Random Access Memories. And I'm just like, Ram is one of probably my favorite albums of all time. And I don't think this is quite hitting those highs for me, but, you know, I've only been listening to it for roughly a week or so, and I'm really, really digging it so far. So anyone that hasn't listened to Tame Impala, I think all of his work is incredible. the live performances. I've seen Tame twice now, and they've been incredible both times as far as live performances are go. And I think that they're currently touring. I don't think they're quite coming super close to me, but I do think they're coming pretty close to you, if I'm not mistaken.
Are they?
I think there's a couple Florida shows mixed in there, so maybe something to look into if you feel up to it. But Slow Rush, check it out. Spotify, Apple Music, however you listen to things. That doesn't go just for you, Andrew. I think it goes for anyone that kind of has listened to any of his stuff before in the past, or might enjoy kind of a psychedelic pop rock Daft Punk type thing. You know, it's a kind of weird melding of a few different genres, but I think it's done really well. So highly recommend
all about it. All right.
And I haven't watched anything because it hasn't dropped yet, but I just wanted to drop a little reminder for you that Clone Wars starts up tomorrow on Disney Plus. So I printed out a checklist of Clone Wars episodes so that I can kind of figure out where the fuck I am and actually watch the rest of them, so I can kind of roll into the new stuff. But haven't done that yet. So anyway, I'm sure that's something that you'll be looking forward to and talking about. I'm sure it's something we'll hopefully have the opportunity to discuss at some point. So yeah, nothing else for me. You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, wrap it up. We're done.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Again, since it really hasn't been that long, thank you again for getting us to 10,000 downloads. We're actually we're a little bit over 10,000 now, and it's really, really, again, very gratifying to see. So thank you so much, everyone, for your support. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the word to your friends, Facebook, Twitter, any social media accounts you have. Leave us a review on iTunes or the podcast app, however you do it. I hear that it helps in some fashion by maybe putting us on charts or something. But either way, if nothing else, it's just nice to see nice things said, or you could say mean things about us. It's fine. If you're again really upset with my take on Sonic the Hedgehog of the film, it's a fucking kids movie, asshole. That's
Tell
fine.
us. Yeah, you got to say
it's fine. We want to hear from you. And again, I'm not going to get too in depth with Patreon because I kind of plugged it already, and I feel bad asking for money, although money's nice. Mandalorian episodes coming hopefully very soon. We still want to cover The Witcher after that at some point, and then after that, maybe we'll get back onto a regular cycle of some bonus episodes. We'll of course keep you guys posted on that. Our website's watchreviewrepeat.com. If you need any, if you want to look at our episodes, see what's going on, information, head there. Otherwise, you could follow us on Twitter at WRRPod. You can like us on Facebook by searching for Watch Review Repeat. Listener's Corner, I guess I should say, if you want to send any questions, comments, suggestions, send it to watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. As you have now heard 2 episodes in a row, we do check our inbox, and we do see when you email us, and so far it's been one person emailing us many times, and we appreciate that. But if you want us to talk about certain things, even if it's just like bringing something to our attention of just being like, I saw this and it was really fucking good, you guys should watch it.
We probably would definitely
maybe
watch
it's not
it.
on our radar, we take things seriously, and we have somewhat limited time, but if we're getting a recommendation saying like, oh no, you guys are gonna know this shit, and we've been going for 100+ episodes, people that have listened to even a few episodes kind of get our sensibilities, so it's probably not going to be too off base if you're throwing something like that out there. So yeah, we really, really encourage you guys to reach out. If it's easy enough to just send us a message on Facebook, that's cool too. DM us on Twitter, slide into our DMs. We're totally cool with that. No big deal.
That's it.
So yeah, we just really want to interact with you guys. I think that would be fun. And I wish we had a little bit more of that. So again, if that's anything you're compelled to do, please do so. Intro and outro track, The Canalith by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. Next episode, we will be skipping Call of the Wild with Harrison Ford and the CGI dog in favor of waiting a week to see The Invisible Man with Elizabeth Moss and directed by Lee Winnell. A little Blumhouse horror take on the Invisible Man novel. I'm sure it's pretty different from the novel and such, but regardless, that's kind of our next project. A little horror for you at the end of February. early March by the time the episode goes up. So yeah, it's kind of fun, kind of cool.
It's kind of cool.
Looking forward to it. I think it looks good. Excited about it, definitely. So look forward to our coverage of that. Until then, Andrew, we'll see you out by saying,
take care now. Bye-bye then.
Laters on the Menja. I thought you were going to... Man, you got to go full Eggman for that. What the fuck was that?
How do I do it?
I don't know. You just got to ham it up. Just take it to 11 and then realize that's not enough. Take it to 12. I mean, just do the Ace Ventura thing, right? Yeah. Do you remember how that goes? Yeah, all right, so the
do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Yeah, that's you're right. You're getting the energy. You're channeling the energy. I was just gonna say it's was it is it the landlord that comes and is just like, I hear pets or I hear your animals.
Yes, Satan.
Yes, yeah. So you got to find that energy and slam that. You're about to
take
slam
care
the door.
now. Bye bye then.
All right, I think we got it. One more time, just for good measure.
It's as good as it's gonna get, I think.
One more time. One more. Give me one more.
Take care now. Bye bye then.
Laters on the Menja. Thank you. Thank you for indulging me.
Oh, shit.